Menteri Ketenat Social Welfare ke Jylla ubak polling do, menta ke khat artarik jeliu arja arpaulai, ulaong baki don hanyau Tylli ke distrik ha ke Jylla ki badai ki Ktem jong Drok. Kini ki Kynthup ya ki benta ke East Khasi Hills, East but West Gentia Hills, West Khasi Hills, Ribuhoi but ke South Garo Hills. Ulaong baka sorkar kan penkrek ban penkelano ya ki rules jong ke narcotic drug psychotic substances kenang ban penklan ya ke jing penshitom ya ki breu ki badan kti hakakam khai drug be an.
Problem that has assumed very alarming proportions. Me, in my capacity as Minister in charge of social welfare, on a problem that has assumed very alarming proportions, and that is the drug menace across Meghalaya. From figures that have been furnished to us, the rate of addiction has gone up. The number of drug users has certainly gone up from the last figures that were collected in 2019. And also 5 districts in the state have been identified as hotspots where the incidence of drug abuse has gone sky high. Today, our commitment, the commitment of the government of Meghalaya, has been renewed, and we will go all out, in fact on a war footing, to try and eliminate the problem of drug trafficking with all the negative effects it is having on society. So, as you are well aware, cases relating to drug addiction and trafficking come under the NDPS, the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act of 1985. But we have noticed certain loopholes in the Act, for which today's meeting I had reiterated the need for us to have rules framed by the state government, because certain sections of the Act, for instance, Section 64A, give space to whoever is using drugs to escape the net of the law. And so at today's meeting, which was attended by senior officials of the police, the social welfare department, the health department, MEMHANS, and other, the SP, DSP, CID, its interdepartmental representation. So the major point of focus now is on the DREAM project, which was conceived and announced last year. But today we are happy to announce here that the draft policy has been approved and notified, and under this DREAM, which is an acronym for Drug Reduction, Elimination and Action Mission, which calls for a drug-free Meghalaya. Drug Reduction, Elimination and Action Mission, working towards a drug-free Meghalaya. Under this mission, a mission director and his team will assist the government in coordinating the efforts of various departments which are interlinked to this issue, and also uh, total sanction of 5 crores has been set aside for undertaking publicity campaigns and increasing awareness programs. These all will come under this mission. Also, there is that has not been invoked so far till date, which is called the prevention of illicit traffic. Prevention of illicit traffic in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances Act 1988. That is PIT and DPS. So far, we have not been able to invoke the provisions of this Act because we are yet to be able to create an advisory board. But today, a retired High Court judge has consented, Mr. Shivaji Pandey, who is also the chairman of the State Consumers Council, has consented in writing to be the chairman of the advisory board. So once the chairman of the advisory board agrees to take over the assignment of chairman of the board, that gives us that clears the pathway for us to implement this very important act. Under this act, persons with known antecedents of being drug traffickers or being indulged in narcotic trade, big, medium, or small, can be booked under this act, and they will undergo preventive detention for an initial period of 3 months, which can be extended up to a year. There have always been complaints that the traffickers manage to obtain bail very easily. But once this is invoked, and once the chairman who has agreed, meaning that the next step for us is to notify this advisory board, then we are fully in a position to implement this act. And these known traffickers will now be booked under this act to facilitate their being detained under this act and not be able to secure bail for 3 months. However, if they feel that they have been unjustly detained, they can always appeal to the board in writing as to why they should not be detained and why they should be released. Also, we need to strengthen the narcotic cell, which today comprises of just 3 police officials, and we've decided that this will be increased, and once the number of personnel is increased to at least cover all districts of the state, then we will be in a better position to contain and control this menace. So various other decisions were taken, but in brief, I can assure you that we will go all out and eradicate this problem at the earliest, because it is taking a toll on society. It is taking a very heavy toll on the safety and security of citizens, and we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that we go on a war footing to tackle the menace of drug trafficking. Yes. As I mentioned the other day, we will now compile fresh statistics because there is not only the problem of not only the question of updating the figures, but in certain cases, because of say the same person going to different rehab centers, multiple centers to get himself treated, and sometimes using different names, that there is also the problem of getting the statistics correct. So now what we have decided is that under this project, all centers, the addiction centers, will use a single platform, online and offline, so that we have the figures correct, the identity of the persons being treated, which will remain anonymous, but the correct figures will be available with the government.
Very recently,
Yeah, these are flaws in policing, and we will certainly try to plug the loopholes wherever we find them occurring. But the fact that such a large consignment was also seized proves that we are not sleeping. I mean, it's a huge consignment that could have gone to any part of Meghalaya, or without or gone through, because Shillong is also, you know, a point from which which connects the rest us to the rest of the northeast India, and we're also close to the Golden Triangle. So it's not just a local issue here. It's a multi-dimensional issue, very complex, and we need to tone up policing. First, as I said, we will now draft rules under the Central Act to make those rules more stringent. For instance, it was pointed out that anybody having or possessing less than 5 kgs of particular drug can always obtain bail by taking shelter of this section 64A of the NDPS. So now we will accordingly have a fresh look by strengthening the rules, so that we tighten those rules, have state rules which will be based on the Central Act, but which will be more stringent when it comes to applicability.
Clarification.
I need to check that, but
About
certain
5
quantity.
big quantity.
I will get the correct figures, but the point being that you can actually come out because of the specification of quantity. We would like to ensure that the State Act does not even speak of quantity. Any drug seized you become punishable under the Act and rules framed under that Act by the
Well, Papa, there are
I already explained that today, before the start of the meeting, a gentleman who heads the State Consumers Council, Mr. Shivaji Pandey, has consented to be the chairman of the board, the review board, which will sit and adjudge cases under with NDP.
to drugs users like hepatitis B and C.
Absolutely. We will, under the fresh survey, also include the mortality figures.
Ika abang batai ini ki Santuli district berita ki hotspot bago jingjo tong drugs.
East Khasi Hills, Jungi Kedek Away. East Khasi Hills District. Kishnong, Madan Derting, Jalupara, Lai Mkra, Nong Thmai, Polo, Nong Mensong, Maulai, Mauprem, Lumding Jiri, Yo Maulong, Maungap, Maurikeneng, Penusla. West Giant Hills, Ibuhun Bahagi Kishnong, East Giant Hills, West Khasi Hills, Ribuhai, West Garu Hills, but South Garu Hills. No. Hotspot districts. Baki nila identify route wegi Shnong apo Ujupiti district.
Is the
Upon you
government
have
looking at only as the criminal act? Is not looking at a social aspect.
Which is why today we had called for this meeting in order to understand the concerns of various departments and come to a point of convergence of all departments. What we are also doing is we are involving schools through student cadets, which we will be identifying in all schools. And the other aspect, the more important aspect which you pointed out, I will be meeting heads of religious institutions. There is a forum called All Faiths Forum. I am meeting them day after. All rehab centers across the state have been and are being supported by the state government. On our own, however, in the first phase itself, we have identified 3 districts which will have these de-addiction centers to be run entirely by the Department of Social Welfare. 3 such districts will come under phase 1. But where the other centers are concerned, they all have the full backing of the state government. For instance, Kripa Foundation, supported by Social Welfare Department through PPP mode. Breakthrough Center, Kshitashi Jawai, supported by the Social Welfare Department. KJPA New Hope De-Addiction Center, supported by MOS JD, that is under IRCA. KGP New Hope De-Addiction Center for Females, supported by the Social Welfare Department. Free treatment is being provided in all these de-addiction centers. KGPA Selda Center for Girls Nongstoin, supported by the Social Welfare Department. Free treatment is being provided. This is all fully supported by management. The management is not in the hands of the government, but the financial support comes fully.
Baik, Pak mungkin dia bahkan regular part nga kajing simram jong gini wat kisan tawa lagi wat jengkel sana sorpa.
Kata ketika aspek kepada ni nahapan pek kemai, ngindan lah kajong pada ke interaction berki, ban nap ke kidau ke bikin charge kuni, hamtam haba ni nila ai ki, golongan record dengan ai free treatment. Kini kita pulih mentam. Kita bagi ai free treatment. Nak try pi confuse kini, but kini ki private institutions. Ki private institutions kilong kumkan New Life De-Addiction Center, kata orang kalong private. Wisdom Center, Dihar ini kalong private. Pure Rehabilitation Center ini kalong private. Sun Care kalong private. Kini private centers. Hendai kita pi kedau men kabang ai ke list mentan Tylli Clinic Center, mau diang New Shillong, Kshitashi Jawai, mau diang Sakaway, lightly mau diang kita give you full financial support na social welfare, nang ta Jawai, Patka, Longstoy.
The 3 districts that the government is going to come up with the addiction centers, can you name them?
No, we will identify because we have 7 hotspots, 7 hotspot districts. So out of those, wherever the scene is grim and requires more attention, we will pay attention to that, to those districts.
Bapol langsung